Hello, ladies and gents. This is Justin. I'm talking today about philosophy versus meditation, life experience. There's aponia, which is peace of the body, and there's ataraxia. This is Greek, by the way, of the mind. So aponia, peace of the body, ataraxia, peace of the mind. So in lieu of that, quick disclaimer, this is purely for critical analysis purposes and education. So remember that you only think when you cannot see. So thinking can never lead to the unknown. Don't you see this? How? How can thought lead to the unknown? It's a recycling of memory, of language. The very process of thinking has to be understood here. When you think, what do you really do? You go on repeating old thoughts, memories. If you ask a question, for example, does God exist? You can only think about it. What will you do? All that you've heard, all that you've read, all that you've accumulated about God, you will repeat. Even if you come to a new conclusion, the newness of it will only be apparent. It's not real. It will be simply a combination of old thoughts, masquerading as new ones. You can now combine many old thoughts and create a new structure, maybe. But that structure will only be apparently new, not really new at all. Thinking can never come to any original truth. Thinking is never original. It cannot be. It is always of the past, of the old, of the known. Thinking cannot touch the unknown. It is repetitively moving in the circle of the known. You don't know truth. You don't know God. So what can you do? You can just think about it. You'll move in circles, around and around. You can never come to any experience of it. So the Eastern emphasis, for example, is not on thinking, but on seeing, on experiencing, on being. You cannot think about God, but you can see it. You cannot come to a conclusion about God, but you can realize it. You can become the experience. You cannot get through information. You can't get to it through information, through knowledge, through descriptions, through scriptures, through theories, through philosophies. No, you can't get to it any of those ways. You can only get to it if you throw away all knowledge. All that you've heard, all that you've read, all that you've collected, all the dust that your mind has collected, the whole past, you have to put it aside. Then your eyes can be fresh. Then your consciousness is unclouded. Then you can see. So here and now, you are clouded. You have not to go somewhere else to find the divine or the truth. It's here, right now, all the time. It's right here where you are, and it has always been so. But once you are clouded, your eyes are closed. When you're thinking, you cannot properly perceive. So the question is not to think more, but the question is rather how to come to a non-thinking consciousness state. That's why we say in meditation, we say that philosophy and meditation are not equivalent to each other. They're actually opposites, philosophy and meditation. Philosophy thinks, but meditation comes to a no-thinking state. And Eastern philosophies they're not really philosophies. In the West, for example, philosophies exist. In the East, only religious realizations. Of course, so for example, when a Buddha happens, or a Kanad, or a Patanjali, when someone comes to realize this absolute, he makes what he can make about it, which is statements. And the statements are different from Aristotelian statements, from the Western philosophical conclusions, for example. The difference is that someone like Buddha or Kanad first comes to realize, and the realization is the primary thing. And then he makes statements about it. Experience is primary. And then you express it. Aristotle, Hegel, Immanuel Kant, they think. And then through thinking and logical argument and dialectics, they reach their particular conclusions. These conclusions are reached through thinking, through mind, not through any meditative practice. Then they make assertions, then they make statements. So this is a different source. Thinking as the source is the Western idea, and being as the source, realization as a source, is the Eastern. For a Buddha, the statements are just a communication vehicle. Okay? You never say that through the communication itself you will achieve truth, right? If you can understand Buddha, that doesn't mean, okay, you've understood Buddha, but you haven't perceived truth necessarily. It just means you've gathered some more knowledge. You will have to pass through ecstasies, perils, panics, meditations, terrors, deep pools of the mind, and only then will you actually come maybe to the truth. So truth is reached through a certain existential experience. It is not mental. It is existential. You must change. You must change. You must change to know it and to be it. If you remain the same and go on collecting information, you'll become maybe a great scholar. Maybe you'll become a philosopher. But you won't be, quote unquote, enlightened. You will remain the same person. There will have been no mutation. That's why I said that the philosophy is one-dimensional, whereas meditation is multidimensional. So don't think about life, but rather live it deeply, life. Don't think about the ultimate problems, but rather that this very moment, right here and right now, that is the ultimate. And it's not in the future either. It's not in the future. It's always there, timelessly there. Someone else has asked another question. Can problems be solved by thinking? To which we can respond, yes, certain problems can be solved through thinking. Only those problems which are created by thinking can be solved by thinking. But no real problem can be solved by it. No lived problem can be solved by it because it's not created by it. It's already there in life. Thinking won't necessarily be of much help. Only in one way can thinking help you, and that's through thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. You might stumble on a truth. And maybe that truth is thinking is futile. And the moment you realize that thinking is futile for the existential problems, the real problems of life, maybe that's helped you, the thinking in the way. It's through that thinking that you've come to the realization. But the problems we're creating by thinking, they're solvable by thinking. So like a math problem, yeah, you can solve that by thinking, by analyzing, by breaking things down. Because mathematics itself was something in our conception we've created by thinking and analyzing things and breaking them down. So if there's no man on earth, will there be what we call mathematics? I suppose it depends on how you define mathematics. But there will be no mathematics in this conception, as we normally think of the process of mathematics. With the disappearance of human mind, mathematics would also disappear. There's no mathematics as such in life and existence. In the garden, there are trees, but when you count 1, 2, 3, 3 trees are not there because the 3 is just a mental thing. The trees are there, but the fingers are not there. The figure is not there, not the finger's not there. The figure 3 is in your mind in this case. If you're not there, the trees will be there, but not 3 trees, only trees. But even trees is a conception. The 3 is a quality numerically given by the mind. It's a projected quality. And he goes on and on and on and on. How about this one? What's the difference between gazing at an open, clear sky? Nope, I don't like that question either. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you've spoken about so many methods and techniques. The yearning to succeed in those techniques is very great. How can we overcome our great impatience? And Osho responds, once for spirituality cannot be an outcome of desire, because desire is the root cause of all our anxiety and anguish. And you cannot direct your desires to the spiritual realm. But it happens, I confabulated whelm and realm, but it happens, it's natural, because we know only one movement, and that is the movement of desire. We desire the things of the world. Someone desires riches, someone desires fame, someone desires prestige or power or control, something else. We desire things of the world, and through this desiring, we are frustrated by the lack of the fulfillment of our desires. Thwarted desire, as Tolle says. And we are bound to be frustrated. Of course, it's irrelevant whether desire is fulfilled or not. It's not. If it's not, obviously, we'll be frustrated. If it is, then also we'll be frustrated, because whenever we fulfill it, the hope, the promise itself is not fulfilled. You now get as much wealth as you desire, but the wealth was not desired really. Something else was desired through the accomplishment of that desire. That's never fulfilled. In other words, desires are infinite. Wants are many. But haves, possessions, acquisitions are limited. So you can achieve wealth, but the hope that lingers is the dream of happiness, of the bliss of some ecstasy, and that goes unfulfilled, even with wealth. So if the wealth is not achieved, you feel frustrated. If wealth is achieved, then you also feel frustrated, because the ultimate promise of the wealth is still not fulfilled. The dream is not fulfilled. Everything is there. This means we're there, but the end has somehow escaped you. The end is always elusive. So through desire, we come to many deep frustrations. When the frustrations happen, you start looking for something absolute, other than this world. Religious yearning, for example. But now you're desiring for the religious realm. You've just switched the desire vector. You become impatient. You want to achieve this and that. Your mind has not really changed. The object of desire has just shifted. Before it was fame or power, and now it's silence and peace. Now it's meditation. Before it was something, now it's something else, but the mind, its mechanism, the very way that it works is still the same. You're desiring A, now you're desiring B. The desiring is still there. So desire is the problem, he says. What you desire is not the problem. It's that you desire is the problem. Now you're going again into desiring. You'll be frustrated because now you're desiring not to desire. So whether you achieve or whether you don't achieve, you're frustrated, because you missed the point. You cannot desire meditation, for example, because meditation happens only when there is no desire. You cannot desire nirvana, liberation, because it happens only in a desireless state. It cannot be made of an object of desire. So to me, and to all those who know, desiring is the world. Not that you desire worldly things. It's the very phenomena of desiring. This is the world. And when you desire, impatience is bound to be there, because the mind doesn't want to wait. The mind doesn't want to postpone. It's impatient. Impatience is the shadow side of desire. Impatience is the shadow side of desire. The more intense the desire, the more impatience is there. And the impatience creates this disturbance. So how can we achieve this meditative state? Desire just creates the movement of the mind, and then desiring will create more impatience, and the impatience will bring to you more disturbances. This is why so many people say, I can't meditate. It doesn't work for me. So it happens, and I observe it daily. The more a person is living a worldly life, they're not disturbed very often. But when they start to meditate or when they seek religiosity, they become more disturbed, more than ever even. The reason is that now the desire is even keener and it's even more impatient, as it is with worldly things. We're so real and objective that we could wait for them. They're in your reach. You know that they're coming. But in the spiritual realm, it's much more elusive. It's so far away. It never seems to be in reach. It's so ethereal. Life seems to be short, and now the object of desire seems to be infinite. There's more impatience, more disturbance, and with a disturbed mind, how can you meditate? So there's the puzzle. So can we understand it? So let's say the desiring things from the outside is futile. Money, sex, power, prestige. It's just futile. You come to that realization. Then the deeper realization you need is if those things are futile, then desiring itself is even more futile. So you desire and nothing happens, and your desiring creates the misery. So look at the fact that desire creates misery. If you don't desire, there's no misery. So drop desire. Don't create a new desire. Simply drop desiring. Don't create a desire. Don't say, now I'm going to seek God. Now I'm going to find this and that. Now I'm going to realize the truth. You're creating a new desire. If you create it, shows you've not understood your misery. Look at the misery that desire creates. Feel that desire is misery and drop it. No effort is needed to drop it. Remember, if you take an effort, you're just creating another desire again. That's why you need some other desire, because then you can leave that other desire, your original desire. If some other desire is there, you can hang on to it. You can cling to the new desire and you can leave the old one. To leave the old one is easy if some new thing is to be gained, but then you're missing the whole point. Simply leave desire because it's misery and don't create a new desire. There will be no impatience. The meditation is not to be practiced, really. It will start happening to you. Because a non-desiring mind is in meditation. Then you can play with these techniques. And we say play specifically. You play with these techniques. There's no practice. Practice is not a good word, he says. The very word itself is wrong. So you can play with these techniques. You can enjoy playing because there's no desire to achieve something, and so there's no impatience to reach somewhere. You're already there. So you can play, and through this play, meditation is play. Everything is possible through the play of meditation. Everything is possible immediately because you're not disturbed. You're not impatient. You're not in any hurry. You're not going anywhere. You're not reaching somewhere. You're here and you're now. So if meditation happens, okay. If it doesn't happen, it's still okay. Nothing is wrong with you because there's no desire, no expectation, there's no future. And remember, when meditation or no meditation are similar to you, meditation has happened to you. When meditation or no meditation are the same, meditation has happened. You've reached it. Now the goal has come, the ultimate has descended in you. This will look strange. I say, you don't make meditation a practice. Rather, you make it a play. You make it fun. You enjoy it while you're doing it, not for any particular result. But our minds are very serious, aren't they? They're deadly serious. Even if we play, we may make it a serious play. We make it a work play, a duty play. We would just play like, he says, play like small children. These techniques, meditation techniques, don't be serious about them. Take them as fun. But we tend to make everything serious, don't we? Even if we're playing, we make it a serious kind of play. And with religion, we have always been very serious. Religion has never been fun. That's why the earth has remained irreligious. Religion must become fun and festive, a celebration of the moment, and enjoying of whatsoever you are doing. Enjoying so much, so deep, that the mind itself ceases. If you really understand this, these, for example, 112 techniques will show you Everything can become a technique if you really understand. That's why there's a 112. Everything can become a technique if you understand the quality of the mind, which brings meditation. Whatsoever you do can become a technique. So you be playful, you celebrate, you enjoy it. You move so deeply in it that the time ceases. But once again, how can time cease if desire is there? The object of your desire, the pursuit of the object of your desire brings time into the equation. Really, desire is time. When you desire, you need a future because desire can't be fulfilled here and now, right? That's why it's a desire. Desire can be fulfilled only in the future somewhere. So you need the future to move. And then time destroys you. You miss the eternity. And eternity is here. So take the meditation as fun, as festive, a celebration of anything. You're just digging outside in the garden. It's a technique. You dig and you enjoy, you celebrate the act, become the act, and you forget the actor. The I is no longer there. Only the action remains, and you are present to the action, blissfully present. Then ecstasy is there. There's no impatience, no desire, and no need for motivation. If you bring motivation, desire, and impatience to meditations, you destroy the whole thing. And then the more you do, the more frustrated you feel. You'll say, I'm doing so much and nothing is happening. People come and they say, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and for 7.5 months and 15 years and nothing has happened. So he gives an example of the seeker from Holland who says, I was doing a particular technique 300 times every day. And he said, for 2 years I've been doing this technique 300 times a day. Not a single day have I missed. And I've left everything because I have to do this 300 times a day. And nothing has happened. And he was on the nervous breakdown because of this technique. So I said, the first thing is to leave this. Do anything whatsoever, but don't do this. You will go mad. He was deadly serious about it. It was a life and death problem for him. It had to be achieved. And he said, who knows how many days are left? Time is short and I must achieve it in this life. I don't want to be born again. Life is such a misery. He will be born again and again. The way he is doing it, he will go more and more mad. But it's wrong. The whole attitude is wrong. The meditation is a play. It's fun. Enjoy it. The very quality must change to enjoyment. Then it's not something you're doing as a cause to gain some effect. No, you're enjoying it here and now. It's the cause and the effect of both. It's the beginning and the end in of itself. The omega, the end, and the alpha, the beginning. And then you cannot miss meditation. You cannot miss it at all because it happens to you. Now you're ready to take it in. You're open. No one has said that meditation should be taken as fun, but this man says it. Make it a play, like small children. Just play with it. Okay. Then he goes on to the last question. The other day, you said that darkness is more fundamental to existence, while most religions hold the contrary view. Will you kindly shed some more light on this question, particularly in the view of what modern science has to say about it? Does it not say that the last divisible components of matter are just electrical energy? Okay, here's a division again. Light and darkness. If you're looking at them through the mind. You need to meditate on them. There are only two if you meditate on them. Whether you meditate on light or darkness, it doesn't matter. You meditate, the other is dissolved into it. The light is nothing but less darkness, and darkness is nothing but less light. The difference is of degree. They're not two things opposed to each other, but they're 2 degrees of the same phenomenon. And the one phenomenon is neither light nor darkness. The one which these 2 are degrees is either light or darkness. It's both. You can enter into it from light. You can enter to it from dark. So religions have used light because it's more comfortable. It's easier. Darkness is difficult. It's more uncomfortable. And if you try to enter through darkness, you have chosen a more arduous path. That's why many religions have chosen light. But you can choose either. It depends on you. If you're adventurous, courageous, choose darkness. If you're afraid and don't want to go on an arduous path, choose light, because both belong to the one phenomenon which appears at one point as light, at another point as darkness. Then he goes on to exemplify that. So, sincerity. Be sincere. Don't be serious. Sincerely seek to play. HomoLudens. This is the more accurate name for humans, not Homo sapiens, which means the wise one. Here I go with all this thinking again. But ludere means to play in Latin. So be the playful one, HomoLudens.